what happened? She would say, I want to do this. And I'd say, well, I want to do that. And I'd be thinking, well, but I'm the boss. But here's the thing, I would always pay a price one way or the other, right? like maybe she'd say okay because she had to, but then next thing you know, when we got back home, I'd be getting the cold shoulder, because she had leverage in the relationship that went beyond the money that I paid her to do that job, or we had other connections, other assets in our lives that went beyond just the financial assets of that business. And so my point in saying all this is to say to you that most of your assets are not related to money. Most of the things that you have, most of the variables that are shaping which choice is the right one are not just the financial choices, and it goes back to things as simple as people who will uproot their whole entire family and go live in Alaska or someplace because daddy got a better job, and your daughter's miserable now and she's suicidal, and your son's out, in the streets doing God knows what because your kids are mad and your wife is mad at you because she's not happy anymore. If you make an economic decision and you're not factoring in all those other things, then you're gonna make the wrong choice. So when people say things like, "Oh, it's just business," like, because I've gone through that, I now that I see things different, like it'll be something where, you know, I'll say to somebody, I'll say, "Gosh, we really have to save money in this department, but I'd have to fire my cousin, and I don't want to do that. So I guess I'll just take the loss, or I'll just have to, do something I don't want to do." And someone will say, "Well, it's just business." Like they'll understand it's just business, and that's just not the case. There's a lot of money is a tool. Money is not the leader of your life. Money should be the tool that enhances the things that matter the most in your life. And another thing that people say all the time is they say the financial decisions have to be rational, they can't be emotional. I think that's wrong. I think emotions do matter. I think that, I mean, obviously you have to balance that, right? But I really think, for example, if someone offers you a chance to do business with them and that person or that situation is uncomfortable and creepy and stresses you out, it's okay to consider that when you decide how to move forward. Like, don't just sort of think that that everything has to be completely rational and that emotions have no place in your economic decision making, because emotions are directly rooted into your well-being and into your happiness and your peace of mind and all these other things. I make emotional decisions all the time. I would probably be making like so much more money if I learned how to just keep my mouth shut and stop saying the things that I really want to say. But it doesn't, but it's okay. I'm very rich, but I still say what I need to say because I don't need to get richer. I don't care. I just do truly do not care, right? And so so I would encourage you to be okay with allowing your emotional input to play a part in your economic decision making. The other thing that I hear people say is that it's rude to talk about money. Like, we don't talk about money at the dinner table and stuff like that. And I think that's a mistake because families need to talk about money. Money is one of the biggest factors in your life. It is the decision maker in almost everything that so many people do. Like, again, it starts every day of your life. You don't even have the freedom to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness because happiness might be on the other side of town, but you can't pursue it because you got to go to work that day, right? Some capitalist told you, no, you don't have the right to pursue happiness. I do because I have enough money, but you don't because you're struggling. So you've got to come and work for me in the factory while I go and pursue happiness with my kids, right? So this idea that we don't talk about money, in our family, and it's rude to talk about money, I think that's kind of silly. I really do. I think it's kind of crazy that we have families that will spend their time talking about everything else under the sun, but won't talk about the number one variable that's going to cause everybody to be super stressed out on Monday morning. Every family that loves each other should be talking about ways you can help each other to survive. And I had this conversation. I had a good long conversation Saturday with Dr. Claude Anderson, and we were talking about just some of the funny things that we've seen and stuff like that, publicly and everything. But one thing that I mentioned to him was, I think he was sort of showing appreciation for the fact that the Black Business School kind of helped in terms of supporting the Harvest Institute and getting him out there and stuff like that. And I said, this is not something you should thank me for. Um, I would not have considered myself to be your friend if I wasn't helping you economically. Like it's not it's nothing for me to say, oh, I think you're great. I think Powernomics is great. That who cares? Talk is cheap. And that's the biggest challenge that he had with Powernomics, because all these years he's done this great work and done work that literally no one else is doing. And so many people will call him, celebrities with millions of dollars in the bank will call and say, oh, I think Powernomics is great. I love what you're doing. But none of those people will write a check. And I said, no, to me, economic maturity means that I'm going to take accountability to make sure that I don't just say that I love you. I'm going to show you that I love you. So I would have felt like a miserable failure if I had not been able to put hundreds of thousands of dollars into the Harvest Institute and by helping you sell your books and everything else, because that's the least I can do for something and someone that I believe in at such a deep level, right? And that's an important, that's a cultural value that sometimes it's missing. It's missing in the Black community sometimes because people push victimhood so hard, and when they push you to be a victim, you see yourself. Victims are not people that necessarily embrace accountability. Like if you see yourself as a victim, you don't feel you don't see yourself as an empowered entity that is even capable of accountability, because you're so busy trying to not be a victim anymore, right? So the victim, or like you think about a basketball game, like the player who really thinks he's not that good and he's playing next to Michael Jordan doesn't even think about what he can do to actually help Michael score. He's going to sit back and watch him score all the points. And he's going to think, well, I'm not very good. I can't do anything. Well, yeah, you can do something, right? You can help out. You can play defense. You can box out. You can get a rebound. You can do something, right? And I think a lot of times with our community, this is what we were actually discussing. Is I said, no, I said when I saw how great Powernomics was, I said I absolutely must. It is my order. I've been ordered in my own mind to make sure that I do everything I can to make sure that this is successful. And so I think you should have that same philosophy with the people you love. If you love your family, you will help them to survive. If you love your sibling and your sibling starts a business, you will go and do everything you can to support that business. Right? If you love your children, you love your parents, you love your friend. If you say I'm your friend and your friend, you know your friend is in an economic struggle, then you're going to talk about ways to overcome that. You don't have to necessarily do business together, but this idea that we're going to sort of passively sit back and watch each other fail is a ridiculous way to see the world. Okay, so no, with Powernomics, I wasn't going to sit there and he said it publicly, Dr. So I don't think he mind me repeating this, but he said the Black Business School has actually supported him more than any other celebrities or anybody that's ever reached out to him. And I said that's a damn shame, because I know some of these celebrities are signing 10 million, 20 million, $30 million contracts with white owned companies. Why can't they go and write a check for $2 million to the Powernomics Corporation so you can go do the work that you're doing that they claim to love so much? So that's the final thought for today on this. What I'm going to do actually with you guys is, if you come to class on Tuesday, or if you want to submit your questions in advance, I can answer more questions that you might have had related to the lecture that we did this weekend. I hope that this breakdown of financial decision making has been helpful to you. You can log in if you want to watch it again or watch it with your family. All you have to do is log in at blackwealthdecisions.com or the blackstockmarketprogram.com, and you can see the whole thing. And this is yours for life. I mean, it belongs to you for as long as you live. And